Hi everybody, my name is Simranmeet Singh along with Shidit Singhal and Shubham Tukral, and today the topic of our presentation is evolution of computers. What is a computer? Computer is a device that transforms data into meaningful information. Data can be anything like marks obtained by you in a various subjects. It can also be name, age, sex, weight, height, etc. of all the students in a class. Computer can also be defined in terms of function it can perform. These are, it accepts data or instructions by way of input. It stores data. It can process data as required by the user. It gives result in the form of output. It controls all the operations inside a computer. Computer generation in computer terminology is a change in technology a computer is being used. Initially, the generation term was used to distinguish between varying hardware technology, but nowadays, generation includes both hardware and software, which together makes up an entire computer system. There are totally 5 computer generations known till date. Each generation have been discussed in detail along with their name and time period and characteristics. We have used approximate dates against each generation which are normally accepted. Following are the main 5 generations of computers. The first generation was introduced in 1946 and went through 1959. That was vacuum tube based. The second generation was introduced in 1959 to 1965, that was transistor based. The third generation was from 1965 to 1961, that was integrated circuit based. The fourth generation was from 1971 to 1980, VLSI microprocessor based. And the last one was fifth generation, that is from 1980 to onwards, that was a ULSI microprocessor based. First generation of computers started with using vacuum tubes as the basic components for memory and circuit for CPU. These tubes are like electric bulbs, produce a lot of heat and were prone to frequent fusing of the installation. Therefore, were very expensive and could be afforded only by very large organizations. In this generation, mainly processing operating system were used. In this generation, punch card, paper, tapes, magnetic tapes, input-output devices were used. There were machine codes and electric wired boards language were also used. Here is an example of the first generation computer. The main features of first generation are vacuum tube technology. They were unreliable, supported machine language only, very costly, generated a lot of heat, slow input-output devices, huge size, need of AC, non-portable, consumed a lot of electricity. Some computers of this generation were ENIAC, EDVAC, UNIVAC, IBM 701 and IBM 650. Now the second generation will be explained by Shubham Tukral.
So the second generation started in about 1959 and went on till 1965. They basically used transistors over the vacuum tubes which were used in the first generation. They were cheaper, consumed less power, they were more compact in size, more reliable and faster than the first generation machines made of vacuum tubes. In this generation, magnetic cores were used as primary memory and magnetic tape and magnetic disk as secondary storage devices. In this generation, assembly language and high-level programming languages like Fortran, Cobalt were used. There were batch processing and multi-programming operating system used. The basic features of the second generation are the use of transistors instead of vacuum tubes, reliable as compared to the first generation computers, smaller in size, they generated less heat as compared to the first generation computers, consumed less electricity, they were faster, but the basic drawbacks were they were still very costly and the air conditioners were needed as well. So this is the image of the second generation computer and these are the examples of the same. They were IBM 1620, IBM 1794, CDC 1604, CDC 3600 and UNIVAC 110. Third generation basically started in 1965 and went on till 1971. The third generation of computers is marked by the use of integrated circuits, that is ICs, in place of transistors. A single IC has many transistors, resistors and capacitors along with the associated circuitry. The IC was invented by Jack Kilby. This development made computers smaller in size, reliable and more efficient. In this generation, remote processing, time sharing, real-time and multi-programming operating system were used. High-level languages like Fortran 2 to 4, COBOL, Pascal, and basic ALGOL were used during this generation. This is the image. As you can see, the size is comparatively very small. The main features of the third generation IC used more reliable, smaller size, generated less heat. They were faster than the second and the first generation. They needed less maintenance, but they were still very costly, and ACs were needed to cool them down. They consumed less electricity, and they also supported high-level languages. Some of the example of this generation computers are IBM 360 series, Honeywell 6000 series, and so on. The fourth and fifth generation will be covered by Kshitij.
Hi everyone, I am Kshitij Singhal and I will be taking you through the fourth and the fifth generation of computers. After 1970, the fourth generation of computers were built. The fourth generation computers were the extension of the third generation technology. The microprocessor brought the fourth generation of computers as thousands of integrated circuits were built onto a single silicon chip. What in the first generation filled an entire room could now fit in the palm of the hand. Intel 400 chip, developed in the 1971, located all the components of the computer, from the central processing unit and memory to input-output controls on a single chip. Some of the characteristics of the fourth generation computers are: networking between the systems was developed. A further refinement of input-output devices was developed. They are the cheapest among all the computer generations. The speed, accuracy and reliability of the computers were improved in the fourth generation computers. Many high-level languages were developed in the fourth generation, such as COBOL, Fortran, BASIC, Pascal and C language. Now, the monitor here which displays the name IBM was the first computer for the home users. It was built by IBM in 1981. Below it, we have the Apple Macintosh that was developed in 1984. The Macintosh brought with itself the graphical user interface. Next to the IBM PIC, we have the graphical user interface of a Macintosh. Below it, we have the memory chips that were used in those times. The microprocessors also moved out the realm of desktop computers and into many areas of life as more and more everyday products began to use microprocessors. As these small computers became more powerful, they could be linked together to form networks, which eventually led to the development of the internet. Fourth generation computers also saw the development of GUIs, the mouse and the handheld devices. Now coming to the fifth generation. The fifth generation computing devices based on artificial intelligence are still in the development, though there are many applications such as voice recognition that are being used today. The use of parallel processing and superconductors is helping to make artificial intelligence a reality. Quantum computation and molecular and nanotechnology will radically change the face of computers in the years to come. The goal of fifth generation computing is to develop devices that respond to natural language input and are capable of learning and self-organizing. Transformation of computers. The fifth generation also witnessed a transformation of computers from a transformation of computers to handheld devices. Smartphones, as the name suggests, can smartly perform most of the functions of a computer. It's more of an OTG device that can be used anytime, anywhere. Tablets. Tablets made it easy for the people tired of carrying their laptops along with themselves. All the functions of a computer or a laptop could now be performed on a tablet. Smartwatch, as the tagline says, because phone and tablet are too heavy now. This has probably been one of the smartest inventions of the fifth generation up till now. It performs most of the functions of a smartphone and further simplifies the way technology can be used. A glimpse into what the future might look like. To talk about the future, I have here some of the inventions that will change the face of technology and give it a new meaning. First, computers that can be worn as a wristwatch. It extends the concept of a smartwatch and is a computer around our wrist. Second, controlling a computer functions by thought. This is something that can't be even imagined of. This is going to be an invention that will change the definition of technology. Third, quantum computing. Quantum computing shows that technology in the coming years will reach to a level that it will also include physics and nanotechnology with itself. Thank you very much. This was This was our friend summing up the evolution of computers for you, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.